Just because you don't see it happening on your timing doesn't mean it's not going to happen at all. I was putting up the rest of the products in my office today, and as I was putting it on the shelf, I was just praying in my head, and I'm like, God, I know that this doesn't mean nothing. There's no way that this means nothing to you. There's no way that the hours that I put in, the ideas that you gave me, the way that this came about, I know it has to mean something. And it didn't hit me immediately, but as I was praying and I finished and I stepped back and I looked at my office, I was like, I cannot believe the feeling from the very first moment that I started this came back. The feeling of the reasons why I do what I do, the reasons why I show up, the reasons why I created this brand and this business anyway, was instilled in me many years ago. And here I am years later, still doing the very thing that God called me to do, just on a different scale. And I say that to say that right now it may not be looking like things paid off for you. It may not be looking like the dreams that you had are coming to pass, or maybe it came to pass a little bit, but not in the ways that you expected it to be now. I want you to know that those were little seeds that God planted in you, little seeds He planted in your heart, little seeds He planted in your brain for you to have a glimpse, not the full thing, not the full picture, not knowing exactly what it's going to look like, but just a little taste of what He has for you. And as I put up the things in my office and I organized my space and I got back into the motion of feeling like I have something that I'm working towards, feeling like I'm walking towards the goals and the dreams that God gave me, the feelings from the beginning flushed and flooded back in. And so there's power in the small, consistent steps that you take. There's power in the small, insignificant things that you think are so tiny. You think that they're so insignificant. To God, it is so much. To God, those little steps that you're taking mean so much to Him. And I say this all the time, and I've said it for years, but don't despise small beginnings, because just because it looks like it's not growing, just because it looks like it's not moving, just because it looks like it's not maybe being fruitful in the ways that you wanted, just because it's not sprouted into a full tree, does not mean that the seeds are not breaking through the soil, does not mean that the roots are not getting down in the dirt. And so maybe God is just preparing you for what He has for you. Maybe He can't give you everything all at once because He knows that it's going to take some character development. He knows that it's going to take you to go through some motions and go through some seasons for you to know how to hold the blessing when you get there. There's no failure in faith. There's no failure in believing the fact that, God, I know you said this is going to come to pass. I know you said this for my life. I know you spoke this word into me. I know you had someone confirm it to me. I know you gave this to me in a dream. Whatever it is for you, understand that there's no failure in faith. That means that you have to keep moving your feet in order for you to start seeing the things that God has for you come to pass. You have to start moving your feet and understand that even if it takes a while, do not lose sight of the very reason you started in the first place. Don't lose sight of that. You have to be your own encouragement, your own cheerleader. You have to be the person who roots for you, even on the days when no one knows that you're struggling, when no one knows how hard it is to show up, when no one sees your efforts, when no one sees you in the dark room praying, when no one sees you crying and asking God, were you really speaking to me? Did you really give me this word? Did you really speak this into me? When no one knows that, you have to keep showing up. And for years, it has been me starting and stopping, trying this, doing it this way. But let me tell you something about that, right? To other people, it could look like chaos. It could look like confusion. It could look like I don't know what I'm doing, because I don't. I know me, and I know I don't know what I'm doing. But I know God. And so even though it looks like my path is going like this, all around, up and down, it's supposed to look like that. And I know that God is navigating me. So even when I mess up, even when I step backwards 10 steps, even when I fumble the ball here, even when I don't know whether to turn left or right, you have to always know that even those missteps, even the things that you don't know how it's going to turn out, God is using all of it. The Bible says, don't get weary in doing good, because in due season you will reap if you faint not. And so that means that as long as you have a good heart and you're showing up with good intentions and you're not trying to harm anybody with what you do, and you're honestly trying to just pour into people through the gifts that God gave you, You have to know that his word says that it will come to pass, that those things that he's spoken to you, the ideas that he gave you, it's actually going to come to pass. But you have to know that. And you have to know that every step is preparing you along the way. He never said that it was going to be easy. He never said that there wasn't going to be tests along the way, because there is. And not only that, the devil, the adversary, is there to stop you in your tracks. He's there to make you believe that what you're doing is not worth it. He's there to make you go on detours and make you turn around and make you coward out of the very thing that God has called you to do. So your consistency is not wasted. You showing up is not wasted. You putting in the effort for these years and these months and these weeks, it's not wasted. But just because you don't see it happening on your timing doesn't mean it's not going to happen at all. Here I am as living proof. I didn't give up when the clients told me no. I didn't give up when the people didn't like my nails. I didn't give up when they didn't like my products. I didn't give up when I didn't know what to do and what not to do. I didn't give up. I didn't give up 5 years ago when I was making YouTube videos in our 1-bedroom apartment that was 500 square feet. I didn't give up. I maybe stopped for a little bit. I might have got confused along the way. I might have got in my own head and got in my own way a little bit. But here I am, 7 years later, starting over, but starting with God. And that's just it. If you keep God on the journey with you and you don't lose sight of him, and you don't lose sight of him navigating you, in due season you will reap. In due season it will make sense. And the same people who maybe didn't believe in you before will have no choice but to see you now. And that's not to be cocky, that's not to be arrogant, that's not to be boastful. It's just to say, God says he'll prepare a table for you in front of your enemies. And maybe they're not your enemies, maybe they're just people who didn't believe in you, but that goes to show you that along the way, you're not going to have people who always believe in what you're doing. Along the way, you're not going to have people who are always there to support you. Along the way, you're not going to have people who always are there to encourage you when you need it. But sometimes you have to be that for yourself. And so, with all of that being said, here I am in my office in our new home, excited to see all that God has and excited to see all that he's going to do. And this is just your reminder to not give up on your dreams. And even if it gets confusing along the way, just know and remember that God is preparing you, and your steps are not wasted. Your consistency is not wasted. Your faith is not wasted. Keep showing up.